Hi, this is Tatiana Kolavu. I'm so glad you're listening to this. I've had fun all year recording these. This is Stronger, my newsletter on LinkedIn, and this is the last version of it for 2021. Flex your asking muscle. Last week, I tried stopping a service company from withdrawing monthly payments from our Ethos Fitness bank account. The joys of small business ownership. See, months ago, we terminated their service, but they kept charging us. My bank representative said that she would be glad to take care of this for a $30 fee. I get it. That's their standard policy. But couldn't they consider that we're a small business, that we're local, we just reopened after being closed for 18 months from COVID? Should I ask them to ignore their policy? Should I assume that I could be granted an exception? How embarrassing would it be if they said no? All these questions shot through my head, and I ended up spitting it out. We're just getting back on our feet. Would you consider waiving the fee? She said yes. Since reading Professor Linda Babcock's study showing how women hesitate to ask and negotiate, I've been on an asking kick. I've even created a Make the Ask workshop for our business school's Young Women's Institute program. Like many communication skills, asking requires a deliberate mindset and a regular reminder that every interaction is a potential practice opportunity. Having strong role models around you will also improve your asking skills, as will coaches who can give you feedback or cheer you on when self doubt looms. Here's an asking workout plan for you to strengthen your skills while making you more comfortable with this challenging communication situation. Step number one, build your asking endurance. Now, as with any aerobic conditioning fitness program, consistency and repetition provide the means to improvement. For you to begin gaining confidence in asking, practice daily in safe settings and situations where it's sensible to make the ask. So here are some examples. Ask for more or different at restaurants. Ice, straws, napkins, ingredient substitutions, items on the side, and other options for dining in or ordering takeout. Ask for something another person can easily give to you. This could be as simple as a copy of a bill or a receipt at the grocery store, or for the clerk to help you move a large item to your car. Ask strangers. Now, this may sound counterintuitive to the safe space I mentioned earlier. Ask for the time or directions from a stranger on the street or any kind of help when you're in new situations. This may serve you well for this conditioning regimen. When I travel with students to Greece and their data plans don't provide easy access to Wi Fi, they comment on how hard it is to approach strangers for information. I tell them, good. It's good for you to train your asking muscle. They don't want to hear that. Step number two, build your asking strength. These are the tougher asks, the kind of asks that you can't do on a daily basis. Now, strength asks involve things that you're not privy to, like the $30 bank processing fee I wanted her to get rid of, or things that are not available at first glance. Here are examples of strength asks. Deadline extensions, for good reason. Now, hopefully, my students are not reading this or listening to this, but I have to give them credit for asking for project extensions when they are sick. Common occurrence in our COVID world. Deliverable flexibility. For example, if you're given 3 projects at once by your boss, prioritize them based on criteria that will benefit the organization or your boss, and then ask for an adjustment on the deliverables. Don't let the word boss intimidate you. The worst that could happen is they say no. Well, still make the ask, make the effort. Out of bounds asks. Back when we were traveling more, I constantly practiced my out of bounds asks. A change in airplane seating, an upgrade, or a larger hotel room are all examples of asks I was not supposed to get. A great example of an out of bounds ask comes from Mae Jemison. If you don't know who she is, she's the first African American woman astronaut. I had the pleasure of meeting her and working with her. And I asked her, how did you get to work at NASA? You know what she said? She said, I called and asked for an application. I was blown away. Step number 3, push back on your own resistance. One of the reasons asking is uncomfortable is not only the fear of rejection, but also the feeling that we're imposing on others. Asking makes us vulnerable and exposes us to others' judgment. From raising our hand in class when we're in school to asking for a change in our work assignment. Asking is hard, and when left to our own devices, we often avoid doing it. But being content to sit on the sidelines keeps your asking muscles out of shape. If you're holding back on asking, consider some of the following. First, listen to your internal dialogue when you get rejected. If it's negative or critical, flip it. Talk yourself up. You can say, trying counts for effort. Putting myself out there builds my strength. Or say, I would never have known if I hadn't tried. Ask for feedback from trusted sources. Ask a colleague to observe you asking a contentious question in the next staff meeting while considering these factors. Do you use the appropriate tone of voice? Are you using clear articulation? A good balance of facts and emotion? A good mix of warmth and competence, depending on the setting? What do you want feedback on while you make the ask? Is there something you could improve? Are you doing something well? Ask for this kind of feedback. Raise your asking threshold. If you're completely out of asking shape, go back to step 1 and practice from there. Plan for a greater volume and consistency of asks. As you begin to build your asking endurance, you'll find that it's easier to take the next step. Finally, step 4, plan for your recovery. All fitness programs require downtime. In this case, I'm using recovery as a metaphor for your plan B. All big, bold, audacious asks like a raise, a promotion, special projects, or transfers, they have to be carefully considered. Any negotiation coach will tell you that you have to have a range, a target, and resistance points when it comes to numbers. But what if you ask for something bold and the answer is no? Are you going to walk away? Will you go back and improve on something and ask again? Will you just go about your business like the ask never happened? This last step has just become very real for me lately. See, I'm about to make a very bold ask for myself and my colleagues. I've thought long and hard about what my plan B will be and what are my non-negotiables. One thing I can say for sure, I will act with integrity and according to my values. That will be what I do, but what will you do if your ask is rejected? Plan for rejection. The more you ask, the more likely it is that you will face rejection at some point. These 4 steps cover the basics of an asking conditioning plan. Lather, rinse, and repeat all of them at every opportunity. Making better and more confident asks comes with practice and experience. It may help you to have an accountability partner who knows what you're trying to improve and may also be trying to do the same for themselves. Report back to one another and share your experiences, reflections, mindsets on tough asks. It really helps to have an accountability buddy. Now, do you ever have a tough or bold ask coming up that you are willing to share? One that you just did or one from your past? Please share it with me in this post. Also, send this newsletter to someone you think needs to work on flexing their asking muscles. Finally, join me. See, the previous Stronger newsletter generated so much discussion on directives we are given as children that hinder our communication skills. So I've designed a office hours LinkedIn Live on December 15th at 3 p.m. Join me for this discussion on strategies for overcoming these difficulties and tips for closing 2021 with strength and confidence. I'm including this link. Thank you so much for listening. Have a fantastic December.